Hi, I'm Anna of All Trades, and I'm currently standing in my hand tool woodworking shop / office, a space that I temporarily converted while I build my dream woodworking shop. And today is an especially exciting day because it's groundbreaking day for the real shop. We are completely starting over on this property, and in tandem with building the shop, I'm also trying to kickstart my organic farm. My time, attention, and talents are constantly being pulled in 1,000 different directions. You're gonna see a little bit in this very video. If you were watching me when we were back in Seattle, you saw me dealing with a ton of firewood. And one of the saddest things about leaving our Seattle property was leaving the 10 cords of firewood that I had prepared back there. So every time I find myself with a few extra minutes, I toss my chainsaw in the back of the golf cart and run up the hill to cut up some of the dead standing wood that we have on the property, because we just don't have any wood to burn right now. So anything that is dry enough to use, I'm basically processing it at the same speed that we go through it. So while I'm waiting for Daniel to do some of this groundwork, I'm gonna go ahead and hop on the wood splitter and split up some of the stuff that I took down the other day. I am so excited about this building for so many reasons. In Seattle, I was constantly renovating other people's dreams and fixing other people's plans to accommodate my own needs. Here, I get to design everything based on exactly what I would like to do, both function-wise and aesthetically. I met with my friend Daniel Amick a few weeks ago, and we discussed how we could fit as much square footage as possible into the space that we had available, and how we could do that in the most cost-effective way while still having an aesthetically pleasing building. All right, let's take a little gander at my shop. Right behind me, you can see the dirt work that Daniel Amick has done to prepare the pad for the pole barn that's going in here. And this, my friends, is the design for the ultimate shop that's going in right here. This building is obviously an enormous, both physical and financial undertaking. And in such, I'm going to be doing it just one step at a time, and mostly by myself or with friends when I can get them to come and help. But with that in mind, I decided that a pole barn structure was the best way to go, because it kind of comes as a pre-engineered package. I worked with Barn Pros to design the building that I wanted. And funny little side note, Barn Pros is actually in the town where I used to buy all the farm feed when I lived in Washington. And so this is all kind of coming full circle. And I'll be able to at some point go visit their facility and see where all of this kind of started anyway. So that's a pretty fun thing in and of itself. Let's talk a little bit about the building. Right here we've got what's going to become the mechanic shop. It's got a big roll-up door on both sides of the building so that we can pull things like semi-trucks or large trucks, large projects, big equipment in and out of these two doors here. We are going to, in that same room, put a car lift for working on my antique truck and my tractors and all our farm vehicles. Hopefully soon we're going to have a Bridgeport mill and metal lathe, and we'll put the blacksmithing equipment in there as well. Next to it here will be the woodworking machine shop that will actually be isolated from the hand tool woodworking shop, and the second floor of the building will all be classrooms for things that will be coming eventually. I say eventually because I'm only going to be able to afford to do this building in sections, and so the top floor will basically get dried in and then forgotten about until time and finances allow to finish it out. The thing that I am most excited about, besides just having a place to put all my tools and building a space for my community to come together and make things in, is this funny little thing over here. This last little section over here is something I'm very excited about. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to all work out yet, but if I can make it happen, we're going to turn this into a little greenhouse that the rest of the shops can actually look into. So not only will it provide a whole bunch of ambient light for the hand tool woodworking shop, but the hand tool woodworking shop will then be able to look into a whole bunch of plants, and it'll give me added growing space to, grow during the winter. And it's this little addition that really got me started thinking about how we were going to actually heat and cool this entire space. Enter a little bit of found inspiration at my neighbor's house. Let's go check that out. We are at my friend's house who has a greenhouse actually integrated into the design of his house. And what's really special about this is my grandfather actually had something very similar to this, and as a kid it was one of my favorite things to just putz around with him in his indoor garden in the middle of winters in Montana. This place is absolutely incredible for lots of different reasons. It's obviously the work of an absolute master, and being in another master's space, I always love to look at the tools that are handy. The most interesting thing about this space is that it is heated and cooled using geothermal technology. That sounds complex, but it really isn't. Basically, 4 to 6 feet below the Earth's surface, the ground remains a constant temperature year-round. That means in winter and summer, it's basically the same temperature down there. Geothermal technology uses a series of pipes that are in the ground to circulate and recirculate water that then absorbs that ground temperature and transfers it back up into the space. When it gets too hot in here, on the other hand, there are louvered panels and also panels in the ceiling that will automatically open, and fans will automatically kick on to get that extra heat out of this space. There are a few other things in this space that help to maintain a constant temperature as well. There are bricks on the floor, bricks on the wall, and those absorb the heat that comes from the sun during the winter and help keep this at a consistent temperature. The thing that really sold me on this greenhouse idea and geothermal technology in general is the fact that he had papayas growing in his greenhouse in the middle of winter. The craziest thing about that is that in Nashville, there is often snow on the ground outside in January. So to have tropical fruit growing in a very energy efficient, affordable space is unbelievable to me. Geothermal pays for itself in just 5 to 7 years with up to 70% savings annually on heating and cooling costs. And all geothermal installations receive a 26% federal tax credit in 2020. Geothermal is the most environmentally friendly way to heat and cool a space. It's a renewable energy source and it doesn't burn fossil fuels, so there are no CO2 emissions. Switching from conventional heating and cooling is the environmental equivalent to planting 750 trees, or 1 acre of trees. I'm still not exactly sure how it's all going to play out with my own greenhouse on my building, but this was a pretty dang inspiring place to get some good ideas.
If you'd like to learn more about geothermal technology, click the link below in the video description.
So that's the plan. As you can imagine, I am unbelievably excited. Having my own shop where I could build anything that I could dream up, where I could fix anything that was broken, where I could do whatever I wanted has been an absolute lifelong goal. Having a place where my community can come together and learn together and dream big dreams together is also absolutely amazing. Having an outdoor space where I can cook and serve and host my friends that's why I got a farm. This is also extremely scary because this is an enormous undertaking, both financially. Literally every egg that I have worked 3 jobs for the last 8 years to pay for is in this basket. I mean, the money's not even all there yet. I'm gonna have to do this piece by piece. I'm gonna have to do an enormous amount of the work myself, and call in some favors with some of my friends. April, where you at? But I think this is gonna happen, and just the thought of it happening and transforming this space and seeing the dreams seeing dreams come to fruition here, it's exciting times, my friends. Thank you so much for being here and for taking part in this journey and for supporting me in that way. If you'd like to support me in other ways, there are links for my Patreon and my merchandise below. I hope you leave this video feeling challenged, inspired, and excited to get outside and to chase your own dreams as well. Cheers!